Hello and welcome. You're tuned to the Leg Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview show. And what a weekend we have in store. Livamol weekend at Hawke's Bay Group 1, but you might have heard about a little race called the Everest, which we'll be watching at 6:15 tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and just a huge weekend's racing in store for all. Morning to Stephen Hunt. You've had the week off, Steve. We didn't watch you last week.
Freshen up in Taupo with the family, but raring to go for a massive day tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have had a chance to catch up with the racing last week, and good to see Legato right on track for an Aussie campaign.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good one from Legato. Look, she didn't smash the clock, far from it, but she got the job done. I thought it was a 10 out of 10 ride from Ryan Elliott. When you're riding a 65% chance in the race, the last thing you want is bad luck. He set a 3 wide with cover midfield, but he took off at a key point where the key rivals were up front and had a bit of a margin on him mid-race, but he took off at roughly around the 700 metre mark, had to cover a lot of ground, but as I say, she had the superiority over the rest of the field and she got the job done. I thought Aquacade was very good in running second. Nice platform for whatever she wants to go this campaign.
Classic, I'm hearing. It's a classic.
Yeah, could be a nice little race for her to target over the Christmas New Year. And I thought Luberon early in the day was a very good run. Even though she did a few things wrong, she laid in, hung down the straight, left-handed. She was in the right spot. It was very much a crawl and sprint home, but she put herself in the conversation when it comes to the 1,000 guineas.
Yeah, 100%. Nice ride from Warren Kennedy too. We might have a touch on Warren a little bit later in the show, but we've got no Paul Maoate today. I believe we might have him up at Hawke's Bay with Brendan Popplewell. Morning, boys. Oh, gee. Good to see you in the mood, gentlemen.
Well, yes, I think Paulie is anyway, that's for sure. He's just decided to throw the colours on, gearing up for the big race, and there it is, in all its glory. Yeah, you suit them actually, Paulie.
Yeah, well, you can probably tell if I can fit the silks on, then they're pretty much good to go for anyone, to be fair.
Boys are right, though. Boy, what a weekend coming up.
Have a look at it's an absolutely stunning day here in Hawke's Bay on a Friday morning. The forecast is more of the same tomorrow. Yep. So it looks like Hawke's Bay are finally going to get a track, well, approaching good.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a good 4 by the time we kick off tomorrow, if not, maybe 1 or 2 races in.
Yep, it's going to be a hot one, boys. 22 degrees today and the prospect of it getting around 24 tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, fantastic. That's what we want to see. 24 degrees in Hastings. I think we've got 27 in Sydney, and we're now joined by the Leg Up's #1 fan who's doing it tough there in Sydney on an Everest mission. Good morning, Aidan Rodley. Set the scene for us.
Yeah, morning, boys, and I probably can trump Hastings on a few of those things. Yeah, it's meant to be 28 degrees. Beautiful day here in Sydney. We've come to Randwick Racecourse because we have caught up with I Wish I Win this morning. Peter Moody, who's brought the horse down. That was yesterday that he arrived here on track. He's had a bit of a stretch of the legs this morning. Everything A-OK. Boy, he looks a picture, guys. He looks in outstanding form, and yeah, we'll be part of that Sydney coverage, especially on the Premier Show tomorrow as well. But good to be joining you boys on the Leg Up. I've got to get to Sydney to get on the show again.
Yeah, look, yeah. Someone's got to do it, Aidan. Someone's got to do it. I know. Yeah, how was the Jackson? That's what I'm interested in. You got on that boat, didn't you, for the barrier draw?
Yeah, to be fair, it probably wasn't as the barrier draw probably wasn't as cool as last year with the drone, but obviously it is an amazing yacht, do we call it, boat, some sort of vessel, but just getting on there with all those key participants around the Everest, it's pretty cool, and the access we get to everyone from that. Obviously we showed you the interviews from the barrier draw earlier in the week, so yeah, pretty cool occasion. But isn't it all about I Wish I Win? And tell you what, we'll get straight into it because I did catch up with Peter Moody not that long ago and just asked him how the horse was.
He's travelled well. He's in very good shape. He's had a little leg stretch here at Randwick this morning, and yeah, he's been here and done it before, so knows his way around, and couldn't be more pleased with the way he settled.
What was his main work this week?
He had a nice gallop at home at Pakenham on Tuesday morning, and did it all very well. Did a bit of work on the grass there with the stablemate, and had a nice hit out. Good little crisp blow, and then he travelled up to Sydney on Wednesday evening, which is his usual routine.
He's been there, obviously won big races at Randwick. How's he settled in this time?
Yeah, no, he's probably more settled this time because he's been here and done it before. Like when he won the Golden Eagle, he travelled to Rose Hill, and this time round he's following the path when he won the TJ Smith. So it's good that he's had that experience because, you know, he's in familiar territory, really.
The preparation, it's been basically handpicked by you, but has it gone exactly to preparation?
Yeah, it's pretty scary how well it's all gone and come together, and the horse, his overall condition and well-being, I think he's just about at the peak of his powers. He's in great order, he's cleaned up in the coat, and yeah, he's a really happy, content horse.
You'd sort of said no barrier one, but you've got it. How do you combat it now?
Oh, listen, our line of thought was we'd probably rather draw out than in, but it wasn't no barrier one. But listen, there's only 12 in the race. You're not dealing with a 24-horse handicap. But in any barrier and a race of this level, you're always going to need a degree of luck. So I don't think, it'll be a little bit hold your breath at some stage. When's he going to get out and when's he going to find a gap? But usually the biggest issue in racing is when the gap appears, you've got to hope that it's not going faster than you.
One thing, I guess you wouldn't have had this much support for any New Zealand runner that you've trained before. What can the New Zealand public expect?
Listen, I think he'll do you very proud. He's in great order. He goes there with no excuses, and I believe he's there to run very, very well on his best form. And if we see a replication of that here on Saturday, it tells us that he's every bit as good as any horse in the race. So I think he'll do you extremely proud on Saturday.
Yeah, so that was Peter Moody this morning. He was pretty relaxed. The horse is pretty relaxed, and yeah, the feeling is that he is going to run really well. And of course, trackside media, we've all got a little share in it. You boys, it's like, we're all part of an Everest runner, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The feeling around the industry around having a runner like I Wish I Win in a race of this magnitude, and not just a runner, but a live chance. Something. Great friend of the show, Peter Moody, BP, and Paul. I'll bring you boys in here to have a chat to Aiden, but great friend of the show, Peter Moody, after last week.
Oh yeah, he was great, wasn't he, last week? Paul, he'd be able to get him on the show, and
He even tipped us into a winner last week. Was it Rosa Kingston Life Lessons at around $6?
Yeah.
And so he is a great friend of the leg up, and you should always be watching the leg up live too, so you can get those good tips.
That's right. Yeah, no, I'm sure. I was wondering if you remembered that or not, Paulie. Aiden, while you're there, mate, of course. He's drawn that sticky gate, but a lot are prepared to sort of forget about that. He's going to be a lot closer than possibly where he might have been if he'd drawn out in the car park. I thought that was very interesting to what Glenn Boss had to say about his possible position in the race and how he's the best horse in the race.
Yeah, and that's what most analysts are saying, BP, that by being where he is at the start, he could be 3 back the fence. As Peter Moody said in that interview, there might be an anxious moment at some point just when he has to clear traffic, but boy, there's some confidence around this horse. He looks great. Peter's given that just A1 preparation, and I think we've got something to be really confident about with them as well. We also spoke to Mark Chittick this morning, guys, and you can catch that on Trackside soon after lunch today. And the other piece that we've done, which is a really the piece that you'll love to see, is a nice piece with Grant Cooksley. That'll be on at 2:30 on Trackside this afternoon. Of course, Grant has Sacred Satono and the 1 million Australian Silver Eagle as a possible lead up to the Golden Eagle as well. But massive day in store here, and boy, the atmosphere in Sydney is crazy. The weather's great, and we're here to have a great race day tomorrow.
It's great to hear, Aiden. And I guess Sacred Satono coming up as well. Michael McNabb, the Cooksey-Wallace combination. What can you tell us there about that horse coming into the Silver Eagle?
Yeah, as we said, we have shot that piece with Grant, and the horse is really well. He looks a picture. He's obviously a stallion, and they've just got to be a little bit careful about keeping him away from the fillies. But more, nothing bothers him. He's strolling around like he owns Randwick. So, yeah, everything looks good there as well. Of course, Major Beale for the Chitticks in the first, potentially on a Cups path as well. One thing I've got to ask you though, BP. Unfortunately for me, I can't access my TAB account, and I was really keen on getting that, being that chance for the $10 million. Are you okay if we go halves in your bet?
That's a no.
Gee, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one, Aiden. Yeah, maybe we can bring that percentage down a bit. I'm not too sure about half, but we can work out on something.
10%,
maybe 10%.
10%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Mega millions.
Cheers, Aiden.
Mega millions.
Yeah. Well, what a promo that is, team. $10 million for a free shot.
$10 million, and all you've got to do is pick 12 in order. The Mega Millions, free to enter. 100%. You've got to be having a go. All you need is a TRB account to get into that Mega Millions. But we'll say thanks to Aidan Rodley for his time in Sydney. I think we've got an Everest market to show you on coming to screen. But hey, thank you, Aidan, for your efforts, and enjoy yourself on the weekend. Think about it.
Yeah, we can't wait for it. Obviously, do catch us as part of that premiere coverage as well, because it will be massive on Channel 64, the pop-up channel, and of course on TV New Zealand Plus. As well as that, you've got the option of watching trackside as well. So, yeah, great viewing back home in New Zealand.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Aidan. And just just take it easy over there. Think about it. $4.20. Steve, I wish I won. Got out to $5.50, maybe on the back of the barrier draw, and back into $4.80. No surprise, I don't think.
No surprise. I think about it. Post the draws, there's slight advantage there. So, look, I think he will start Faith. Think about it, but there won't be too much between them. In that middle market, In Secret's been a bit of a mover. High teens into $11. Hawaii 5-0 always tracked interest. The fact that James McDonald's riding at a $12 price, so there has been a little bit of a nibble on those middle-ranged horses, etc. In Secret and Hawaii 5-0.
I wish I win, boys. No doubt, I wish I win can do it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, he gets the right run, and it's just going to be down to Luke Nolan getting the ride right, Paulie.
Yeah, he's all class, so we know that. He's done it before. So as you say, well, as Moody's mentioned, when the gap's open, just hoping that the other horses aren't going as fast as I wish I win.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? And it could be sweaty palms for a fair portion of the race with how deep he might get in the run. Overpass is that logical leader in the race, and how quick does Overpass go? And what are the other attackers in the race? What does Zach Purton do from the outside barrier draw within Secret? You'd imagine Cylinder's a horse that goes forward. Think about it, gets the logical run in the race, you would imagine, in terms of the map. But Overpass does get a great barrier draw and the chance of really trying to stack them up. It's worth $20 million, though. I don't think they'll be just stacking them up and sprinting up top. There surely is going to be that right pressure up front to be able to help I Wish I Win get that gap at the right time and hopefully finish over the top of them.
Yeah, I'm hoping the market continues to overreact to that barrier draw, and we get a price maybe north of $5 on the day, because that would be very, very attractive.
I think those that are probably sitting on the $6 are sitting rather happy. Of course, that promo was running through the winter time, the boosted price around I Wish I Win, and I know, boys, there are a few punters that are sitting on that particular ticket.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think you'll get to $6. I'd be shocked with a quality horse of like I Wish I Win. Best of luck to all the connections. It's going to be a hell of a race. And I'll be glued to the screen at 6:15 tomorrow night to cheer home I Wish I Win, and I wish I could have a go at that Mega Millions promotion.
Yeah, looks forward to it. Just hearing BP and Aidan, it was almost like they were trying to deal an Everest deal between ownership and a horse slot holders, but we'll let them work it out in the next 24 hours.
Okay, boys, we'll leave it there. Look, we want to have a look at what happened last week with our package. How bizarre.
Things are shaping up to be pretty odd.
Oh, look how funny that is. I am the invisible man. I am the invisible man.
Have you seen that foreplay we've got for him, Pops? He'll be furious, don't worry. He will be furious. Like, he won't... It'll make the joke better that he doesn't think it's a joke. He's going to be he's going to be angry.
Exactly.
You know, we've got the things to... we've got the harness boys to tell us class, trotter resuming, 50-metre handicap, won't worry it. Hunty said it's past the post, get on. Yeah, Stevie said it won't be beaten. Yeah. He will be fizzing when he sees that, but anyway. Steve wouldn't leave without giving us a foreplay bet. He said, Bolt for Brilliance tonight at Alexandra Park resumes off a big handicap, but he is a quality trotter and he will overcome that handicap and he'll be a moral tonight, Steve said, at $1.55.
Who knew Steve was a closet harness fan?
Well, he loves a good equine athlete, and this is that.
You learn something new every day.
Exactly.
Bolt for Brilliance, the son of Muscle Hill. Win 15 coming up under the ribbon of light at Alexandra Park, and what a return by this magnificent square gator. Bolt for Brilliance, easy.
Well done to Hawke's Bay winning the Shield, or during the week.
Yes, they did win the game. They played great, didn't they? And I guess I sort of wish that's all that we would be able to talk about.
Huge. Don't miss the leg up next Friday.
You're going to be on. You're not going to be in studio.
No, I'll be with BP on course.
Okay.
Hastings, here we come. Hawke's Bay.
let's
I'll
walk.
bring some glue with me.
Things have changed for me, but that's okay. I feel the same.
And after that short delay, we had a cow on the track here at Hawkesbury. They've all moved in, and they're off and racing.
Group 1 Australian Size Produce Stakes on the champion galloper Octagon.
Flies got him. Flies got him in Sydney. No surprise. I've heard they've had some bad flies there actually in Sydney. So good tip in last week in the
Yeah,
Fourplay.
cheers. Yeah. No, it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of study.
Yeah.
I believe the horse is going around tonight, BP. Is that right? Bolt for Brilliance?
Certainly is, Stephen. Yes, I'm surprised you don't know this, but $3 is the price for Bolt for Brilliance up against Muscle Mountain, and we'll go awfully close once again.
Yeah, absolutely. What a class horse like that. Pops, we'll come back to you. It's Maiden of the Week time. What have you found for us?
I'm going to go to last Saturday. There was a couple of good options to choose from. Geriatrics is clearly a notable mention, but I'm going to go for this horse because Stipulator is a 3-year-old filly here, has beaten race winners and has beaten a horse that won the Group 1 last season. And of course, I'm talking about Pignon. This is a very good win from a horse that I know in those 3 prior starts there was some expectation the horse was going to be able to win a maiden race. Well, goes past some nice types. So we're going with a Maiden of the Week that's beaten a Group 1 winner in Pignon. Stipulator, very keen to get around that horse as our Maiden of the Week team.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know
Steve's back this week, so it's time to crunch some numbers. Stevie, what have you found for us here?
Just going to focus in on Warren Kennedy, so around some numbers on how he has hit our shores in the last 18 odd months. So Warren Kennedy overall, since arriving in NZ, he's had 108 winners from 654 rides at a strike rate at 16%. But I want to focus on his stats when riding for Lance Noble, which we know is linked up with the Cambridge Stud ownership. And since the season of 22-23, Warren has had 66 rides for Lance Noble for 17 wins at 25%, a very impressive plus 151 on profit on turnover. In that time frame, there's been 10 other jockeys who have ridden for Lance, combining for 6 wins from the 32 rides. It's still a healthy 18%. And when I look at it and compare it to Lee Thinnis, who was originally, as years gone by, the jockey that represented Cambridge Stud and Lance Noble, he had well over 200 rides for Cambridge Stud and recorded a win percentage of 13%, which is well below the 25% mark that Warren has achieved, but still very respectable. So,
Is that a dig at Leith? Is that a dig at our form friend, our trackside presenter Leith?
I'd never have a dig at the form.
No.
Never have a dig at the form, the ranked number 2 show on trackside.
No, 13% still solid. It's just showing you what Warren's been able to
achieved
produce.
in
Yeah,
the
and
last
what Cambridge
18
Stud and
months.
Lance Noble have been doing as well.
Absolutely. And just look at this season thus far. They've had 9 runners, Lance Noble, Cambridge Stud and Warren Kennedy, for 4 winners. So they really have hit the ground running this season. Over a small sample size, no doubt. Yeah. But look, they've got some runners over the weekend, 4 runners, including Polygon at Hastings and also Habana Ottawa Park in the Swainey Stakes. So keep an eye on those runners over the next 48 hours.
Yeah, okay. Good stats. Cambridge Stud, Lance Noble flying, as is Warren Kennedy. Right, guys, let's get into the meat of the show. We want to go to Hastings, obviously, Group 1 day at Livamol. Stevie, look, the boys are sitting in lovely sunshine. Talk about track conditions and rails, etc. for us at Hastings.
Well, let's go back 2 weeks ago when they had the meeting, the Arrowfield Stud Plate on the 30th of September, where, as we know, that was a genuine 7, almost bordering on an 8 for the majority of race day. The rail was out 3 metres. Now, it remains in that slot for the entire rail out 3 metres there. The key difference is the improving track conditions this week. It's now soft 5 come Friday morning. There's no doubt that will improve to a 4. Whether it comes race 1 or later in the afternoon, but we should be playing on a 4 at least.
Okay, let's get to race number 8 on the card. Livamol Classic, Group 1, Steve, and how has this market shaped?
Yeah, nice betting race, plenty of action, Thaddeus. Headed by Mustang Valley, a deserving fave, just out a slight term from the original price of $2.20, now trading $2.30. Pearl of Alsace, $4.20, clearly in that second line. Ladies Man bouncing between 8 and 8.50. Then double figures around Aromatic at $11, original price 10. Defibrillate 18 into 14, best back run in the middle market. Call sign Mav 16 hasn't changed since the original quote. Time's ticking at 21. Cake by the Ocean, not friendless, 31 to 26. Currently a losing liability with that high lay price. And Just Ask Me, best of the rest at 31. So look, plenty of interest in Mustang Valley, even though it's gone out of turn. Thaddeus, don't get put off. They're still punting her, and she looks to be the one to beat.
Yeah, the money's quite well spread here, gents, in the Livamol Classic, but this win by Mustang Valley in the Arrow Field, you'd say quite dominant in the end, Pops.
Yep, she was, and everything fell her way, didn't it, in terms of key runners scratching from the race and, of course, the rain falling. It was going to be a track condition that was always going to push to 7 to 8, rain on the day. It got to a 9 by the time we raced here for the Arrowfield Group 1. Now, she ran well in this race 12 months ago when it was on a better surface at Matamata, and then came here and won on a heavy 10 track, of course, in the Livamol Classic. So she does have different track conditions to contend with, and that's going to be the clear and obvious question mark for her. But I guess, Paul, when she gets over ground, we know she's a class act, that she's still going to be in this race no matter what the conditions are, even if it does get to that good fall.
Exactly. She's a class mare, BP, and I think the drift is not a slight on her ability. It's the fact that we're going to have those improved track conditions, and I think that brings the rest of the field closer to her.
Yep.
So, look, I wouldn't worry, as Steve said, I wouldn't worry about the slight drift on Mustang Valley. Obviously, she'd love it if the rain appeared tomorrow. It doesn't look like that from the forecast. So maybe there are some few others that we can look at outside of her. However, as you say, defending champ, we know she can do it, and she's got the ability. So, yeah, the 230 stacks up right now.
It does. And guys, as we come back to you, I think she's the right favourite, and she is the one to beat. And I think those horses that come into it are runners like Pearl of Alsace, who is the unknown, isn't it, Stephen, in terms of her going beyond 1,600 metres. But what she has shown us, especially in that sample size last season, is that she is more than capable of peeling off a Group 1. She was unlucky in a Thoroughbred Breeders and a Cuddle Stakes winner. Your thoughts about her?
Well, she's untapped. She's the one horse that is untapped. Overall, you look at the age group in terms of this Group 1, there's no 1 4-year-old, they're 5-year-olds and older. So a lot of these horses are exposed, they found their peak, etc. But she is the one horse that's untapped. She's got a ceiling yet to reach. And if you go on her last start performance at Te Rapa, which will show visually, it was a pretty good performance considering if you just weigh up a few things that has come out of the camp in the last 7 days. And one of them being that Sean Ritchie, post the second at Ruakaka, he just trained off her, and she put on a bit of weight to Pearl of Alsace. So condition-wise, maybe she just wasn't quite there at Te Rapa. But again, if we see the footage around Pearl of Alsace at Te Rapa when she won, it was a pretty good performance considering, now that we know that information, she might have been a run short because they went out extremely hard in this race. They went out over, if you look at the stats, the numbers that will come up graphically, you see there 60 and change to the 600, well over 10 lengths to the 600. So she had the chase hard from the back of the pack, and that's probably why she was just a little bit vulnerable at the back end of the race and she didn't put in that decent margin. But this will make her come on. This will make her come on. I think it's a perfect run considering it was quite hard on her. Yes, the margin isn't there.
What was on the inside there, Steve? What was on the inside of Pearl of Alsace?
Yeah, that was from memory, BP. Who was it?
Oh, so I've got you.
Amuse-moi.
Amuse-moi, correct.
Oh,
yeah, Amuse-moi.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I thought it was a really good run considering it was a fitness level from 16 stepping up to 2040 was Pearl of Alsace. She's drawn barrier 1. It doesn't look to be that much speed in the race, BP. So I think Sam can try and hold a spot from 1. Whether he gets 2 back rail or 3 back rail, I don't think it's an overly concerned, but I don't think they'll want to be any further back than 3 back rail. She has shown okay speed in the past, maybe not so much this campaign, but she's had wide gates, sticky gates to handle. So she's got the barrier 1, which is, I think is pivotal considering there doesn't look to be that much speed in the first furlong or 2.
No, there doesn't. And I wonder, Aromatic positive from out wide, maybe Warren Kennedy. I think Call Sign Mav is definitely one horse that's going to be positive, and actually it's a reason why I actually think he's a great chance in the race, Call Sign Mav, tomorrow, Paulie, because he's going to position up. He loves Hawke's Bay. He is a genuine Group 1 horse.
Both sides of the Tasman?
Both sides of the Tasman, that's right. This time last year, when Sir Rupert Clarke did this run. Now, that was over 1,400 metres, yes, granted, but it's that run here in the Group 1 1,600 Arrowfield. He ran, 7th of 8th in a Cox Plate off the back of the time that he won 2 Group 1s here in 2021. He's been placed in an Awapuni Gold Cup. I'm not too worried about the distance for him, and I just think he might be one of those key roughies in the race. You like something at odds in the race at all, Paulie?
Yeah, I don't mind Call Sign Mav, the local. Yeah, as you say, loves Hastings. And boy, oh boy, they got was he paying 80s or 90s when he won here?
His first Tarzino, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not getting that this time, but we're still getting $16. And he's one of the runners, I think, that pops out with the improving conditions.
Yeah.
So, yes, you've got it. Just back to Pearl of Alsace. I thought that first up effort at Ruakaka, that second where she actually flew home.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Don't remind Bob.
Really, that stands out to me.
Look, he's still not over that.
It was a huge run. So, yeah, but Call Sign Mav, definitely. I love the fact that he's a local, and on days like today, and this is the day we'll get tomorrow, I think he's going to be right there in it at the end. So the $16 and $4 for a top 3 at the moment, really stand out.
Yeah, 270, top 4, somewhere along those lines.
There's an early crow market too, guys, and I've sprung this on the team. They won't have this market to hand, but Call Sign Mav's odds on in an early crow market, first to the winning post, first time round. So you'd expect he's going to be hard to beat in that. I think we've got a replay of the metric mile with Ladies Man, Dionysus, and Just Ask Me, boys. Where do you put Ladies Man here, BP?
Yeah, look, he is a genuine hope because he's one of those Cups horses, and we have quite a few Cups horses in this race, racing at weight for age level. Now, we know that there's the possibility of a really big prize for him, and that's trying to get to the first Tuesday in November. So he has to be a chance, doesn't he? We know he can operate on heavy tracks, and he can also go on top of the ground as well. So I don't have any problem with him being on better surface. He's ticking all the right boxes, isn't he, to say that he can be a chance, and he's hovering around $8. Look, under the weight for age conditions, I guess is going to be that is probably the concern for him. As I said, he's a good, genuine Cups horse, like some Platinum Invader, who falls into that category as well, and even Aromatic. But look, I can't leave him out of a top 3, top 4, trifecta first 4 type beat type. He has to be in there on the score of consistency.
Yeah, 100% he does. One horse I want to quickly touch on, Steve, before we push on is Defibrillate. I'm going to get it out. I always struggle. Look, he ran some big races in Australia. His best form would be competitive here, and I see there's been a little bit of money for it.
There's 18 to 14. Look, he ran third in this race last year when he was first up. He's got a great record second up. I think 5 times he's been presented in that order and won on 3 occasions. Look, at his best, he's right up to the race. Hard to get a gauge of where he actually is because, look, he wasn't competitive first up, but in all honesty, that wasn't the right setup. It was carrying 60 plus kilograms over 1,600 metres. So maybe you just got to follow the trust and the money around this horse. I know it's always well played in these kind of races. So yeah, I'm just not sure where he's at. He's a 9-year-old. Look, not too many 9-year-olds win at weight for age. I think Willie Cazales won this race as a 9-year-old, but he was a Northern Hemisphere age 9. So
they got us there too. Yeah.
It did get us there for the O'Sullivan stable. But
Elephant never forgets. Sorry, Steve. Yeah.
Oh look, he won a Balmerino last year, obviously as a Beale Classic. So he's got the right CV, but just not sure where he's at this time in this preparation.
Okay, before we go back to the boys for their summation and selections, can Mustang Valley do it? $2.30 on an improving track?
Yes, she can. I mean, she ran 101 in terms of a performance rating this race last year, albeit it was on a heavy track. She just needs to replicate that, even with a slight regress. She wins this race. I don't think there's any horse coming outside the Arrowfield or who finished in behind her in the Arrowfield that can turn the table. So you've got to look for a form reference outside the Arrowfield if you want to punt against her. I see 2 things happening with her. She either handles the good track or she doesn't. So she'll win or she'll finish outside the first 6 or 8. That's how I see it developing with Mustang Valley. BP, quick comment around the bar plates that are on Mustang Valley. Now, they're slightly different than the concussion plates. In terms of a betting picture around them, you go back stats, profit on turnover, it's minus 20% when that particular gear change is added to a horse. So, look, concussion plates I've got no dramas with, but when it comes to par plates, it's a different conversation. Is that a slight negative when you're assessing her chances on Saturday?
Oh, look, there's always red flags when you see bar plates on any horse, no matter what it is, and it depends how you want to weight that, and that might mean she gets to a slightly better price than where we see her, where the opening line was at 220, and she might start getting into a 260, 280 zone. You also got to remember too that the punter of the year is on here tomorrow, and what's that, race 8? We might be getting to a stage. Now it's a tote only competition, of course. But you might get to a stage where some horses are getting strongly played, Paul. There might be some $2,000 pushes on horses that are in the middle market. That might mean that she starts going upwards, or is she the horse they play into? But I guess if it's a good track, there might be some red flags out there. She might start pushing up in the price, and maybe the bar plates could be one of those reasons for it too.
Expect some very, very late moves, BP, and you might be a part of it.
Well, yeah, but very possible, Paul. That's why we've been here the last few years and not working, but we will be here in a working capacity on Saturday. But we'll have a couple of runners here for us on the weekend. Your selections in the big race tomorrow?
Look, I love the look of Pearl of Alsace. I just love that first up run at Ruakaka. I think she comes in perfectly placed. The ace draw, Sam Weatherly will have her, I think, positioned perfectly. But course I Mav each way. I love a local. Yeah,
I think he's an enormous player in the race. I find it hard to go past Mustang Valley Pearl of Alsace in terms of a winning selection. If you want to run from me, I'll just slightly go Pearl of Alsace with the chance of getting a soft run in the race, and she is that unknown Mustang Valley. And I think the two plays at each way in this race are certainly Call Sign Mav, where he sits at 270, top 4. He'll be in front, he'll give you a sight. Might have something sneaky on him on that early crow market. And I think Defibrillator's a runner. If you remember last year, he ran fresh up third in this race last year on a really testing track, and then went on to win a Group 1 at weight for age level. He needs to be respected. He got mud in the eye. It wasn't his go last time out to the races. He's got a low draw. He'll put himself in the race. He's a chance at odds as well.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid, that's the bottom line.
Lance O'Sullivan Award time, BP. Who receives the prestigious Lance O'Sullivan Award for the last 7 days?
I'm going to go for Michael McNabb, actually, in the first race out of Taupo. Now, this was a good ride because he was on a horse that drew the outside barrier, and he was able to get into a position of outside leader pretty easily, to be honest with you. Now, he was aided by a horse to follow over, and Naya followed that horse. Once he got to outside leader, but on the point of that bend, really, it was race over, I thought, for that horse, because that was the only niggling issue for mine heading into the race, was her barrier draw, where she was going to end up in the race. Michael assessed it beautifully, put her in that spot, and was able to gain win number 1 for Ravenna Rose, and of course they're locally trained here by James Bridge. So we'll go with Michael McNabb, who of course will not be riding here on Livamol Classic Day, but has an opportunity to ride on Everest Day aboard Sacred Satono in the Silver Eagle.
Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free.
And where's the hard luck story this week, Paul? Who was the unluckiest runner of the week?
Well, we don't have to think back too far. Just head back to Taupo, and it's an Opie Boston ride. No fault of him. He was on the Favourite Academy Award, and he was ready to go, and boy oh boy did the doors just shut on him. There was no way through, unfortunately, for backers of Academy Award this time. It's pretty much like the doors get closed on me at the loading ramp at about midnight on a Friday.
Well, there's reasons for that, but anyway.
So those who did back Academy Award, you got done hard that time, so I'd be jumping on again when Academy Award goes around.
Yeah, talk about the doors shutting. I mean, it shut at the 600, the 500, the 400. It kept shutting all the way to the finishing post with Academy Awards. So, yeah, definitely be following that runner for Stephen Marsh. Hopefully he has a little bit more success at Hawke's Bay come Saturday, does Stephen. Okay, guys, race number 6 on the card, Steve, is the Spring Sprint. Run us through this market, please.
A ripping race headed by Romancing the Moon, who was a Group 1 winner. Livamol Classic is a 3-year-old. $3 you see there trading Friday morning off a peak of 360. Accounts for 50% of the turnover. One of the better back runners on the card, Romancing the Moon. In front of Pukatero at 7.5, just out one turn. Max Schnell, 14 into 9. Kiwi originally, went over to Australia, had a campaign there, is back in NZ. Max Schnell, 14 into 9. Al Vencedor, 7 out a couple of turns to $9. Dusty Road at $9. Our Alley Cat, 10 out to 11. Not at the Head, Sticky Gate at a $14 price. And Not Guilty, also a sticky barrier, 15 out to 18. Overall summary, best bat runner clearly sits with the favourite number 7, with Kozi Asano aboard for the Walker Burgesson team and Romancing the Moon.
Nice race, BP, as it always is, to be fair. A relatively dominant favourite, but there's plenty of angles to play here. But Romancing the Moon's resuming run suggests he's somewhere she rather is somewhere close to the mark.
I'd say so. Look, she's a Group 1 performer. She beat Skewiff last year, of course, in a Livamol Classic. She ran straight to the front here for Jess Allen and ran them off their feet. We had some owners here not too long ago. They were just perusing, getting themselves all psyched up 24 hours out from the big day. And they were pretty keen to say, hey, get around Romancing the Moon. They've already taken the 360.
To say they were fizzing would be an understatement. They are very, very confident about the chances of Romancing the Moon. And as you say, beat Skewiff in the Group 1 Livamol Classic, and we saw what Skewiff did here not too long ago. So
in these exact colours
indeed
that we see right here.
Yes, yeah, slightly smaller colours that time, but yeah, anyway. And if I've got owners who are coming up and have laid down their hard-earned and are very, very confident, that tweaks my interest.
Yeah, I think, boys, she sits in a nice spot. She's got the barrier draw to take a good position. As good as this field might be, she could be a good play in the race.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And the owners are confident. Paul and BP signing autographs up there for the owners as well. I mean, that was kind of them to do that. I'm sure they had their autograph books out. Puketero, Steve, is the next horse I want to have a look at. You touch on Romancing the Moon, though, but right, look, quality horse, but here's Puketero winning at Tauranga.
Yeah, I thought it was a good win from Puketero. Obviously, this was earlier in the day at Tauranga. They've gone out extremely hard, so it did really set up for those horses back in the field. Showed promise, plenty of promise as a 3-year-old. Again, one horse that just not sure where the ceiling lies. Just a sticky gate, a very sticky gate for her. She'll have to probably go back in the last third. She'll rely on tempo up front. Overall on the map, look, there looks to be enough speed. You've got Al Vencedor, who looks to be in the first 2 in the map. Max Schnell's the interesting runner. Look, it says blinkers on as a gear change, but he has been wearing blinkers over in Australia, so it's not an added gear as such, just from his last start in NZ, so don't get confused there. But with the blinkers remaining on and drawn barrier 1, what I've seen over in Australia, he could hold a position. That could be that leading spot, and Al Vencedor might sit outside lead, or they may elect just to sit back and take the trail and Al Vencedor come along the paint from that draw. But you've got Al Alley Cat, Mercurial, even Not Guilty, who's drawn the widest gate of all, may come across and just generate that early speed. So I think they'll go at least even tempo, which should suit those back markers when they want to blend into the race.
Okay, well, I know you're a fan of this next video we're going to have a look at, and that's Dusty Road resuming with a win, Steve. Talk us through this one, and he's obviously a rough chance in the race. He's a chance in the race.
Yeah, again, he was a progressive 3-year-old. He contested the Livamol Classic. I finished midfield that day, but I reckon he's come back bigger and stronger as a 4-year-old here. He was a rating 67 galloper, taking on open class here. He'll get back in the field, probably just 4 to midfield. From the 800, he sat 3 wide facing the breeze in this particular race at Tauranga off a very strong tempo and still had the audacity to pull away in the straight and win comfortably against open class gallopers. The overall speed rating, no knock there, minus 0.3 versus the class. As I say, I think he maps well enough, just 4 to midfield off that hot tempo for Jasmine. And he can stay 1 off the rail. And if you compare it, if you normalise it to Puketero's performance and the rating 75 sprint earlier in the day, she needs to find 2 lengths on Dusty Road. I've got him on top at roughly around that $9-10 quote, Dusty Road.
Okay, but the other replay, gentlemen, is Old Town Road. Look, shocked to see Old Town Road going for a hat trick, paying $26, boys, but speaks to the calibre of the race.
It does, and the conditions, doesn't it? Because he was able to strike it right when he won Muriel Mile Day. It was a heavy 10, backed up the following week, and he got himself a heavy 9. So sometimes you've got to roll the dice through the spring period if you're a horse that is looking for those conditions, and they've got to bang on with this horse. What he does bring is he brings residual fitness. He's a tough, hardened horse. You've always got to respect those runners when they get one shot on a good track. So I'm always keeping that in mind when you get good, solid, wet trackers that find themselves on a better surface here on the weekend. Spring Tide's an interesting horse in this race. Now, if you go and look at Spring Tide's run last time to the races, you'll find that the horse ran 4th in the Tarzino, the Group 1 behind Skill If. Now, we know that the horse has run a bottler of that in that race previously, of course, ran a placing Spring Tide. What are we thinking here, team, around this horse running a big race at an enormous price? It's sort of, look, 26s, 27, somewhere around that, Mark?
Oh, I thought he needed a bit more rain, a bit more aqua, get his hoof into the turf. Yeah, he just doesn't quite have the figures on a better track, in particular what we're thinking and predicting a good 3. And being an open handicap race, he has to carry, not the grandstand, but 60-odd kilograms against horses that have similar performance ratings that sit low in the weight. So, look, I'm willing to take a set. I think he's probably fair enough in that low 20s to mid 20s. He just has a few variables against him, one being the improved track and obviously the weight being open handicap conditions. Okay, BP, Paul will come back to you.
Top 4 vibes from you, BP. Yeah. Top 4 vibes?
Yes, a little bit of top 4 vibes. Yeah. I just think he's just a horse that is constantly underrated, and when you consider that he's run well over 1,400 metres at this venue previously, yes, conditions may not be there for him to be suitable on the weekend. I know I do get that, and it might be in that good track condition. But yeah, I like Romancing the Moon. Anyway, what you keen on that one?
Oh, I was keen on it before the owners turned up. So yes, I'm all over Romancing the Moon. That Group 1 form just stacks up, and it was a very nice resuming run. I see very few red flags that say, I look for reasons not to back someone, and I'm struggling to find one when it comes to Romancing the Moon. So I'm all over Romancing the Moon.
$3.60 to $3. Paulie's on, and I'm keen around it as well, Romancing the Moon, and our first of our features coming up on Livamol Classic Day.
Boy, oh boy, we need to check the overs, God. Some big moves during the week that has been. I want to start at Hawara, race number 5. Spencer's getting well backed wherever he goes. 12 into 650, 5th. JBJ was a decent move. 850 into 420 in the Cup. 12th. I pulled up. I hope everything all right with JBJ. Down south. Oh, here we go. Absolute field day for Southerners on Sunday there at Ascot Park. In Disguise, 450 into 320. Bang, William John, 850 into $5. Thank you very much. And then they finished us off with Redford, 5 into $3.30. BP's Ride of the Week, the Lance O'Sullivan Award, Ravenna Rose, Michael McNabb, 5 into $2.70. They got stuck in there. And Taupo After Party as well on the last, 14 into $6. Unfortunately second, but Ravenna Rose getting the chocolates. And they got stuck in it. Matter on Saturday. Grand Crew, 14 into 850. Tears of Victory in the 3-year-old, 9 into 420. The likely leader, but Luberon sat outside and did the business. GM Como, 16 into 7. Third. Screaming Eagle, 11 into $4.50. Fourth. 750 into 380 for Preview. 420 into 270. Here's a couple of winners to finish the day at Mudda. Chevron was well backed and saluted, as did one of the biggest moves of the week in the last race at Mudda. My Babyline Girl has been 15 into $6 and got the chocolate, so everyone left happy when they got off track there from Matter last week. Overs Gods, hopefully, will be smiling for you this week. Okay, guys, we head down to Ashburton, Stevie, and we want to have a look at track conditions first and weather.
The weather's fine, and they've got strong nor'westerlies tomorrow on race day, so that should bring the track back. You see it a soft 6 currently, rail in the true position for the big meeting at Ashburton. So, look, I'm predicting it may start around about that 5 mark. Early doors tomorrow, with hopefully an upgrade during the day to a 4, very similar to Hastings.
Yeah, okay. The race we want to have a look at is race number 9 on the card, Stephen. That's the 3-year-olds with implications around guineas and the like. We've seen these horses before, the horses that head this market, and they're both going very well.
Yeah, headed by Viva Vienna, $1.85, so it was deep into the red on Wednesday. It's gone out a few turns to now even money, $2. Flip of the coin, Viva Vienna. That's on the back of good support around number 3, Illicit Dreams, 5 into 420, and Star of Justice, who happens to be the stablemate of the current fave, 5 into 4.5. Then you got the second division headed by Warning Signal at $14. But look, overall summary, just a little bit of trepidation around the current fave in Viva Vienna, a lot of support around the 3 and the 6, the 6 and the 3.
Yeah, Viva Vienna's been continuing to do the business, BP. Just a few heart palpitations for favourite backers in this replay, though.
Yeah, and I guess both of these runners that finished first and second here in the Canterbury Bell will have that question mark of a little bit further to 1,400 metres, and that's going to be the key around this race. What I did like around Viva Vienna, though, is that she settled in behind Illicit Dreams, and she was very good through the line. And Sam Weatherly said that post-race when we spoke to him of just how good she was to be able to pick up the leader and then go through the line in her victory there. Illicit Dreams has been super this campaign. We know where she's going to be, and maybe the barrier draw plays into her hands with her having that low draw, the chance to be able to sit there and in front, where Viva Vienna, unlike that time, Paul, is not going to have that chance of just lobbing in behind and getting in the slipstream of the big danger in the race.
No, and that's probably why we've seen a slight drift on Viva Vienna, the favourite, out to even money now, and a wee bit of a squeeze on Illicit Dreams from 5s into 420. I just love the way that Viva Vienna fights, and we saw that there in that replay. So she's going to be tough again. It all depends. Can Smiling Joe get across and just sit outside the lead, or maybe one back, and then just get stuck right into the right? If he can, I don't see too much of a difference in the results that we've seen so far in the races between these two.
Well, you found one a couple of weeks ago, and it was in fact at that same meeting, Star of Justice, who was able to break through for a very good maiden victory then ridden by Warren Kennedy. She's in the race, she's hovering around that third line of betting, but she looks like she has some supporters, and she won this race in really good style, Paul.
She certainly did. I was confident before the race, but boy, oh boy, she showed a clean pair of heels here and just put that field, albeit not the toughest of fields, but you can only race against who they put in there, and she just won with a leg in the air, to be fair.
She did.
So it looks like, the market's got it right. The action's all between those top three in the market. It's just how well you rate each one.
And I guess as we come back to you guys, trying to work away from that day, what other form lines are there to be working with from the Canterbury Bell Stakes? Of course, with that Quinella, and of course that win on the same day by Star of Justice team.
Yeah, Star of Justice, you could probably weigh that up. There's a bit of red. I was seeing a bit of red around the bottom of Star of Justice. Look, on the eye, visually, certainly a dominant win. And as Paul rightfully says, you can only beat what's in front of you. But, you know, how did that stack up potentially against the Illicit Dreams and the Viva Viennas?
Well, firstly, it was pretty average on the clock. Horrible to be, in fact, around Star of Justice. There was 4 1,200 metre events on the day, and the overall time of her maiden was clearly the slowest. A speed rating of minus 4.3 lengths versus the class, which is concerning when you normalise it against the Canterbury Bell, which was later in the day. So maybe the track was firming up. It was 10 lengths inferior, Star of Justice performance versus Viva Vienna. So it is concerning. Look, small sample size. Star of Justice has only had the 2 starts. Stepping up to 1,400, there might be a slight trepidation around Viva Vienna and Illicit Dreams and their credibility of getting the 7 furlongs. But I have no dramas with those two getting 7 furlongs at Ashburton. I'm with Illicit Dreams. I thought it just circumstances. The race went out very hard in the Canterbury Bell. I just thought Tegan had probably no option just to come across and find the paint. And on that, the horse just continued to go very hard to the 600 and was almost a sitting duck in the last furlong or two. And that's where Viva Vienna, who I concede, showed versatility and being able to take a sit is what BP mentioned. So that's a good sign for Viva Vienna. She was able to take a sit, and she may have to do the same on Saturday. But I just felt how hard they went in the Canterbury Bell just exposed Illicit Dreams. And if Tegan can rate Illicit Dreams a touch better, whether that's leading or taking a sit, I think she's the one to beat just on the comparison of prices. $2 versus $4.55 earlier this week. So I'm in the Illicit Dreams camp. I was last start. I'm sticking with if she's rated better up front.
Paulie, BP, surmise the race. How are we betting into it? Are you with Viva Vienna or Illicit Dreams? Come to you, Paul. Which way are you playing it?
I'm sticking with Star of Justice. Look, I understand what Steve is saying around his numbers, but I see something special in that filly. So I'm happy to stick with Star Adjusters, and hopefully we get a wee bit of a drift with most of the action heading towards the top 2 in the market, Viva Vienna and Illicit Dreams.
Yeah, I might play a little fixed Quinn here around those 2 horses, Viva Vienna and Illicit Dreams, and with Paulie thinking of Star of Justice as a big chance in the race, I'll be looking out for a power play around maybe the 2 and the 3, both to run top 3, something like that. That might be a nice little saver as well if you're playing the Quinella.
Trying to do better, can't get no worse. What I done wrong, I done right. It's my darkness in your sunshine.
Leg Up confessional time. We don't get it all right, always get it right here on the Leg Up, much due to, you know, as you would not think, we obviously get a few things wrong here on the Leg Up. Steve, what do you need to confess for the last 7 days? You weren't here though, so have you got a confessional this week?
Oh, I have to go away from the racing scene. I was up at Taupo last week with the family, and I was walking along the lakefront and had a crack at the hole-in-one, which is very popular for people that visit Taupo. And I hit roughly around about 20 balls, and not one of them hit the island. So I'm going to make that the confession of the week. Very average swing by yours truly.
Oh, I can go all day on that. You get a free ball when you hit it, don't you? So
you do.
I can go for hours.
So it didn't last too long, my experience, but nevertheless, it shows that maybe I need to be a Paul Maoate and play some more golf.
Yeah, exactly. We can't all make the every weekend the golf. Paul, your confession for the week?
Yeah, I picked Bella Corno for a top 4 last week in my Fourplay bet. Unfortunately, she didn't get the business done. I picked the wrong day because she did get up and win. Was it yesterday, BP at Waverley?
I think it might have been. Yeah. Because I'll jump in here with my confession. Mine's around Bella Corno, and actually finding the right day. Was pretty keen to get around Bella Corno yesterday at $4.20. And it crashed in and closed off as the favourite. So I was fortunate enough to be able to find the right day as opposed to Paulie going for the Saturday.
Fourplay time for the week where we take a $100 bonus bet multi on these 4 selections. I want the good things for the weekend, the things that can't miss. Funny, we haven't managed to nail one yet, thanks to Paul missing with Bella Corno last week. BP, who's your Fourplay bet this week?
He's my boy. It is Channel Surfer. He's been pretty good to me so far this preparation. He's up against a good one tomorrow. There's no doubting that. Adam I Am and Channel Surfer. I think that could be one of the races of the undercard here tomorrow. I'll go Channel Surfer top 3 at $1.30.
Paulie?
Yeah, I'll have a go at Hastings as well. Race 9 for mine. Number 1, Winning for All. Look, that was an encouraging run first up, BP.
You know something about this horse, don't you?
Disclaimer, I'm a minority owner of Winning for All. But back on top of the ground, and with the 4 kilo claim with Gareth LaHood, I think he's right in it. So I've taken him for a top 4 finish at $2.40.
Stevie, what have you got? I'll make a comment on Paul's Fourplay in a minute. Terrible Fourplay, Paul.
Yeah, I'll go to Hastings. Rockburn, the local, under the care of John Barry, missed day 2 on the back of the rain and a soft track. Was a real eye-catcher on day 1. Was very unlucky. Got out late. Sectionals were very good. The concluding stages. He's second up this campaign. He steps up to the 7 furlongs. Rockburn top 4 at $1.65.
I go on the rugby. That's where I've been making hay. All Blacks can still win, but I've gone Ireland plus 7.5 at $1.25. $100 multi on those 4 selections could return you $543. Get to the TAB Facebook page, interact with the Leg Up question, and you'll go into draw to win that $100 bonus bet. Okay, time to head to the best bets time for the week. Let's have a look at last week and see how we did with last week's best bets.
Right, it's a little bit of a Stephen Hunt feel to this bet. No, it's not a harness bet at Alexandra Park. It is going to be Quinella out of Matamata, and that is La Creek and Legato.
It's Legato in front. Equicate is winding up on the inside from La Creek. It's Legato and a very confident Ryan Elliott. Oh, she's back and she's back big time. Legato's won it from Equicate. Third, La Creek.
I'm going to go to Hawara, race 5, number 4, Cognito.
Still there, Shakira and Cognito, but Hi-Yo Sassbomb has given them a spanking here. Hi-Yo Sassbomb, a big winner. Either it is Shakira or Cognito.
Look, I've put one in. The people have asked, and I've listened. With Steve away, I've got a best bet, and I've gone Tulsi to upset Luberon in race number 2, Mudda Mudda. Look at that plus. I've got plus 0%, not minus 0, by the way. You can see that. So I'm in the green.
Wow.
It's Luberon in front at the 100 metres. She's home. She's a bit green, but she'll get there. Luberon won it.
Oh, I'm in the red now. Minus 100%. I've retired. I've retired a loser. $1 invested, $1 lost, boys. Best bet of the weekend this week. We'll start with you, Pops. Where have you gone?
I'm going to go first race of the day at Hawke's Bay. She is short on, but she is the favourite for the 1,000 guineas. Her name is Molly Bloom. This might be an awkward watch. She is drawn barrier number 8, and she is going to be getting back in the run. Hopefully she doesn't get too far back and she finds that right position. Her turn of foot is electric. Release the Jets, Joe Doyle, and try and win the first race with Molly Bloom, please.
Yeah, I'm sticking at Hastings. Race 6, the Group 3 Valley Divine Restaurant Spring Sprint. And the favourite there, no surprises, that wonderful mare, Romancing the Moon. $3.60 into $3.
Stevie, Paul, the owners have got Paul there. He said that's finalised his bet for him, running into the owners of Romancing the Moon. Your best bet for the weekend, please?
I'll go to Sunday, Aroa Park. Really good card there. I'm going to go early in the day, race 3, the 3-year-old sprint, Chica Mojito, who just rated through the roof, albeit it was on the synthetic, but she's already shown a bit of class on the turf 2 starts ago at Hastings. So she's got a few lengths on these rivals. Valentine, etc., need to improve significantly from what they've produced lately. So I'm going Chica Mojito as my best bet.
Have you stolen that off Pops? Are we making that official? Because isn't that Pops' best bet?
I liked her as a trialer, so you know, he's still.
Okay, we'll leave it. We'll share it. We can share horses, can't we? Paulie, promos for the weekend. We're not far from getting out of here. Promos for the weekend. What do we need to know to get stuck into this weekend?
Oh boy, we've got promos all over the place this weekend. Where do we start? We've got the Grand Tour bonus back.
Hang on, that's a typo, is it? Hey?
What?
1 to 10?
Races 1 to 10, the whole card at Hastings tomorrow. Bonus back races, 2nd, 3rd or 4th. You pretty much know the T's and C's by now, but if you don't, head to the TAB website and check them out. We've got a bonus back from Randwick, races 1 to 4, 2nd, 3rd or 4th, up to $50 once again. Where else are we going?
I Wish I Win one?
Yeah. Yes, I Wish I Win. If he finishes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th, you'll get your money back as a bonus bet if you back him in the Everest. So, yeah, check that one out. What else? Oh, the boys get paid punters club, of course. They're going to have a big go on Livamol Everest Day. And if you invest a $20 or more bet into there, you qualify for a 20k bonus bet, which you can then use on Karaka Million night. Okay. And then, of course, the Mega Millions. I think we've spoken about it already. $10 million up for grabs by just picking the finishing order of the Everest. And once again, it's free to play, BP.
Yes, that is exciting, team. It really is. What a weekend in front of us. I know that this weekend has always been enormous here at Hawke's Bay, from the old Celt Capital days and the Hawke's Bay Punter of the, or the New Zealand Punter of the Year, but now to have the Everest on top of it as well. I think it's Caulfield Guineas Day too, out of Caulfield, and we've got a slot in the Everest with a genuine chance of winning it, and I Wish I Win. I really do hope that it can do the business, and it's just going to be one heck of a day to tune in. So make sure you check out Trackside Premier Channel 64 and TVNZ+.
Now, BP, before we go back to the studio, I did say that I'd bring some glue up for you.
What do I need to do with that?
Well, as we know, there was a slight incident with the Ramfurly Shield, and it looks like the boys had a go at putting it back together, but from the photos I saw, they were using granulated glue. So that doesn't really work with wood. So I've brought you up a glue stick. If you,
thanks.
You could pass that on to the Hawke's Bay Rugby Union.
Yes.
They'll be able to sort that out now.
Yeah, I'll pass it on to Whakatava, a key man that might be able to help us there with that. So thank you, Paulie.
Yeah.
Thank you, boys. Thank you. Have a good weekend up there. Enjoy yourself. Pace yourself. Paul up there, but I know you're going to have a great day. Everest Day, Livamol Day. Thank you, the boys, for joining us on track. Thank you, Steve, for joining us again.
Cheers, Thaddeus. Can't wait. And I'm looking forward to that undercard clash. Adam I Am versus Channel Surfer.
That is going to be exciting. Plenty to sink our teeth into this weekend. Get to tab.co.nz for all the betting options, and we'll see you again in 7 days' time on the Leg Up.